Hello, it's Peter here from Mini Model Paint Studios, and today we're going to start looking at something that a lot of people are really intimidated about. It's Photo Etch. Right, first things first, you need your cutting tools. So rather than the rubber mat that we've got down here, you don't want rubber, you don't want anything soft, you need something really hard. So I've got a glass mat, because when you're cutting through the fret, you basically need something hard on this side, hard on that side, and as you push through, the brass is actually quite soft, and it'll just cut it, it'll separate it. So we need a knife. This is not the best knife to use for it, and nor is this. I've just got a new pack of these. This is what I would prefer to use. Here it is, the chisel blade, nice and flat, like that. So the next thing we need, so we've got a cutting tool, we need a straight edge, and I like to use some masking tape as well, just to hold things down. When we build this is the toolbox. Let me see that. It has 4 points to bend. Now, bend with your fingers? No, your fingers aren't. They're soft. They're not straight, and it will just mess up the brass. So, what we need is some kind of folding tool. Now, this is about a £5 from Hannant's. It is a piece of photo etch in itself. It is a simple folding tool for etched brass. So, let's get into this and let's build the tool that we're going to use. And it is stuck down very solidly with this barcode sticker. Right. So in the back are instructions on how to assemble the tool so that you can assemble your photo etch. It's always nice when you get to make your own tools. So we have to take it off the sprue, off the fret rather. Fold it down this line here, which we'll use the metal straight edge for this. Fold the top over and super glue it shut. That's easy. And then what you do, you put the brass piece in through the drawers here and fold them. Nice and easy. So let's figure out how to do this. So I'll put this down on the surface that we're going to cut on. We'll hold it down with.
Move your head. Heed. Move.
With a straight edge, and let's separate it.
That's a huge noggin. Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
The reason I'm using a metal straight edge here rather than anything else is just to make sure I cut in the right place, but also that it doesn't bend either. Now this feels like it's stainless. This set is made from Photo Etched nickel silver. Right. This is a lot tougher than Photo Etched brass. There you go, there's a split. And let's do the other side. Now, the other thing, which I haven't said that we're going to need to do, but we definitely will, is we're going to need to file it. We need to sand it down with a file. Certainly if I'm going to use this tool, this folding tool, I don't want to be cutting my hands on any of the burrs that will pop here where I'm cutting it. I mean, it will, when you're cutting metal off metal, you're going to get some imperfections. So it's no different to using plastic. Now the other thing you could do is actually just use tin snips. There you go. I'll loosen the lid. Okay, so here we have a file. Let's just file this down. I've done a pretty good job of cutting through that cleanly. Certainly, when you're making any photo etched parts, the reason you're using photo etch is for the super detail. So you will want to file down these edges. Yeah, there's a shot. Because when you're looking at it at scale, any little bumps that are on here will stick out a mile because of the scale of the metal that's used. This is quite thick. This is very thin. And if you remember from your school days, clean up your workbench after. What you don't want is metal filings blowing around when you're airbrushing later on. All of this stuff will, you can't even see it, but it's there, so you'll want to sweep that off with a wet rag. I wouldn't recommend using tin snips or the same cutters that you would use for plastic sprues. I did with these, and you might. This is why I'm using these, because I've actually broken them. I've bent them. I've dented the metal here. So I'm not too bothered about these. I need to get a better pair. I've got 3 or 4 pairs of these sort of things. I've heard. I haven't seen them being used. I don't have any, but Tamiya do a tin snip type scissor tool for Photo Etched Brass, which apparently is very, very good. So I'll be looking to. I'll look at some point to get one of those for this, but for the minute, I'm going to use the old the chisel method and the straight edge. So first, let's bend this tool, and then we'll come back and we'll cut a piece to fold. Okay, so we're back on the bench, and we need, according to the instructions, to fold this down this line, and then super glue them together. So easy done here. We'll use our straight edge. Now we need something flat to go underneath to bend it. For now, this will do, because the nickel is strong enough not to snap. And there's our first fold. Let's do the next one as well. Fold that all the way around. All the way around. Oh, that's really, really tight. And that is that. So what I need to do is put a couple of dabs of super glue in there and clamp it shut, and we'll come back to it when it's dry, which is not very long. The super glue is nearly run out. It smells nice. I've been joined by an assistant. Can you smell it? There it is. Blobbing in there. Don't worry. I'm out in the studio in the shed, and I was startled by a little face at the window. My 7-year-old boy has come to say hello and see what we're doing here. It's still very early. I don't know why he's awake. bit of over-engineering to make sure that it's nice and solid. That's not an important part. The important bit is that the teeth, these little this jaw at the front there, that has a little gap. We've got no glue in there, thankfully, so that will split open, and we'll put the Photo Etched Brass part in there for folding, so that we don't have to use this. Okay, so while that is just curing in the corner, that's not a very good knife at all. Sharp knives are better for modelling than blunt knives. So let's get these tools out of the bag. Oh, that's cute. Okay. So here it has this wrench. It is part 1 there and part 2 there, and you stick them together. Oh, that's not intimidating at all. And here's the toolbox we're going to work on for. So we need to fold across there, there, and there, and then there is a rod. Okay, so it would seem that I have to provide my own handle for this. That's fine. That's not what we're worried about today. Let's start. We'll take this down so it doesn't get damaged. So we won't slide around. We'll just take that to the glass, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points to remove from. So get that in there. There it is. So before we fold it, we're going to get rid of those rough edges. So we'll get the file on it. So it's just nice and light. Careful not to bend it in your fingers. That's that. Let's see, this should have dried by now. Tricky little thing. Come on. So as I said, this is a £5 tool. You can buy much more expensive tools with clamps. At some point I'll invest in one of those as well. But this thing's perfectly good for what we need to do. So here we are. Let's line that up like that, and we want to bend this toolbox across that line. So we just push that and over it goes. While that's in there, we can spin this round. We can use the top of the folding tool, the bottom of the folding tool. We can use all the bits. But make sure is that this line, if you can see this line here, that line there needs to line up with that there. It's not doing at the minute, so give me a sec. And as we have it there, we can do the other side as well. finally, let's spin this, get this out. The last little bit to bend. Now, we can't get the folding tool in there, so what we'll do, we'll fold the box around the line. That, and then that there, and up it goes. So here we have now a perfect little 48 scale toolbox. What I need to do is find some doweling, some brass rod, something to a bit of sprue, plastic sprue to put through the holes, and that's then done. I could leave that like that, but what we will do is we'll glue it just to make sure it's done. In a future episode of this, we'll look at the more complicated folds and soldering. Especially soldering is good when you're running out of super glue. There we go. It's fiddly, it's fun, it'll take most of your day to get one thing done just right, but actually totally worth using Photo Etch. Just because it's such fine detail. We can now, when that's painted, we can stick that, throw that in the back of the tilly with some tools in it, and we've got ourselves something to fix it, because, you know, it's a British car, it needs fixing.
If there ain't no hole under 'em, there ain't no hole in 'em.
And that's all we're going to do today. We've made a tool, and we've made a toolbox, or most of it at least. All with the help of my assistant, who's hiding back here. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe, to follow me on Twitter at MiniModelPaint, on Facebook, also Facebook /MiniModelPaint. Hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you back here next time for more Photo Etch and other goodness. Bye bye.